I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And not take it, we will together, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is the Political Spotlight, and I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 191st episode. Thank you for being here. It is Monday Fun Day. What an amazing day it is for all. We have been busy, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you, the last two nights, honestly, I have done the show on autopilot. I've basically been asleep, so much so that last night at the end of the program, while Kate and I were doing our end of the program debrief that we always do, at one point I hear her talking to me, and I like my eyes open, and I'm like, hello, what's up? I had just been asleep. She's just talking to me. I probably was going, drool was hanging out of my mouth. It was probably insane. I don't know how long she'd been talking. She tells me that it was just 45 seconds to believe that I was doing that for much longer, and she was just staring and seeing how long I was going to do it for. But I slept some last night, more so than normal. You know, it's not, I know a lot of people think that these dark circles under my eyes are like a beauty enhancement by God, but something that he's given me and touched me with, you know, something that he has warmed all of your eyes with, being able to see these. These are an enhancement, you know, given to me by the good Lord. They are not. They are earned through the lack of sleep, and good restful sleep at that. But I did manage to get a little bit more sleep last night than I have been the last several. So I think that we should be able to do the show tonight awake. I think we'll be okay. I think you guys are going to get me in tip top shape, and we will see. I will let you know. Here's what I'll do. If I feel like I'm going to go to sleep and do the show on autopilot, I'll give you like a little thumbs up, or I'll give you like a nod before I get ready to go that way. I'll give you a nod before I nod out. How about that? All right. We have a lot to talk about this evening. And it seems like the closer we get to the election, it seems like all of these shows are kind of going to be very similar. Yes, Charlize, you are right. I could do the show in my sleep. You are right. I am at this point such a bloviator, a talker, that I do feel like I could probably just put this right on down and lock it in, close the eyes, and have a wonderful sleep talking away, doing the show. And you probably would not, it wouldn't be any difference, more than likely, but we'll see. I am going to try to stay awake for the show, though, tonight. So since I'm going to stay awake for you, I'm going to ask that you please do us a favor and hit that like button. Hit that like button. We've been doing really well with the people that have been in here, smashing that like, giving us a like. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I would very appreciate it. Very, very, very much appreciate it if you would subscribe. We are really close, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is not something that bothers me. This is not something that I think about. This is not something that we care about in any way, because to me, the subscriptions don't matter. What matters is the hours watched and the time that people spend watching. That's what matters. The amount of commentary that we are able to get out in the world. And that is what truly matters. But for those of you that are kind of watching, I know that there are viewers that are watching this. There are currently 858 subscriptions. So we are eking ever bit closer to that 1,000th subscription. So if you have not given us your subscription yet, please do so. It can be done for absolutely nothing. It's free. So do that. Consider that. If you subscribe, and hell, even if you don't, you should subscribe just so you can click the bell. That is probably the biggest thing. That way you can be notified when we go live, when we drop content. That's very important. Okay. Probably the most two important things, though, to me, are the last two. That you're communicating with us if you're here live, or you're communicating with us if you're here on your own time. If you have something to say and you're live, put it in the box over there. If you're watching this on your own time, put it in the box down there and we will get back to you. It's very important that you do that. And above all else, share the show with everyone you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, number one, I'm going to say this. I noticed back when the Sproles Henry County Sheriff's Deputy pursuit thing happened in Muncie and Delaware County, I noticed that the newspapers and the stories were not reporting on the fact that the gentleman that was the deputy in the pursuit, meaning the car that was driving behind everyone, the bad guy, I guess, and not everyone, just the bad guy, that car was driven by a deputy who has not yet been to the academy yet. Okay. This guy has not been to the academy. And I had noticed that that was not something that was being reported. We talked about it here. But the Star Press, I don't think, said it. The Courier Times, I don't believe, said it. Channel 13, I don't believe, said it. Channel 8 didn't say it. And Fox 59, I don't think, said it. And I was talking to a reporter down there about this. I'm not going to name the reporter, but I was talking to a reporter, and I said, it's interesting to me when you guys covered this, that no one covered the fact that this deputy was making this decision and that none of the superiors were calling him off, even more so because he's not been through the academy yet. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, man, that Henry County deputy that chased a car into Delaware County at over 100 miles an hour through some of Muncie's busiest streets and intersections, past at least 2 schools and a college, and down one of Muncie's busiest roads during what a lot of people would call the start of rush hour, has not even graduated from the law enforcement academy yet. And I was just yesterday, I said this to this reporter, and this reporter texted me today and said, "Hey, look me up on X." And I was like, man, don't be texting me that. I don't like people texting my business like that. Like, I've not done that, but if I ever do go out and buy some MDMA, I guess I'll call you. Oh, you mean, wait a minute. You mean look you up on, okay, sorry. You mean look you up on X, the social media site that used to be Twitter. Oh yeah. Okay. So then I went there and I looked this guy up on Twitter, and it's X now. And holy crap, he had mentioned the fact that there was this big story that this deputy had not went through the academy. And then tonight at like 5 and 6, Fox 59 reported that. So I am happy to report we are really affecting, the story here, at least in East Central Indiana. I mean, we're doing a major thing that probably would not have, we reported it here the night we listened to it. I reported that he had not been to the academy yet, but mainstream media has to report it only after we let them know, So I'll pat myself on the back for that. I will scratch myself on the back for that. There you go. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm glad that they did get that, because it is important that people know that. Listen, the kid has had the 40-hour pre-basic. Technically, that's all you need in the state of Indiana to have your police powers and go through the initial parts of training. But again, it shows a very major lack of leadership that the officers in charge on the roadway don't know at the time. See, listen, the reason why we want leadership to be made up of the reason that we want leadership to be made up of veteran men and women is because in really serious cases like this, when everything comes down to tunnel vision and your adrenaline is pumping, we need people that have been through these things before and understand, okay, wait a minute, I need, more than just the lizard brain working here. I need the higher brain working, and I need to recount that, man, the guy chasing that car has not been through the full academy yet, and maybe because he's out of our community and in Muncie, we need to tell him to pull back, since he's on the radio and saying, yeah, we're in heavy traffic at 100 mile an hour speeds. You know what I mean? The only thing I think that he could have said worse is, so we're passing the school for the blind, and they're currently outside painting. They're outside painting the stripes on the roads, and we're going at 200 miles an hour. That's the only other thing worse he could have said. So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. Jackie Fisher, Fox 59 had that segment on tonight, and that segment was reporting that in that pursuit that occurred, the deputy that had been in that pursuit had not been through the academy. And, that was the report. And, I'm glad that we were able to help pass that information along. So, that's pretty important. It's a pretty important bit of information that honestly, I can't believe everybody left out 2 weeks ago when it happened, but I surely understand that the Henry County Sheriff's deputies and the Sheriff's Department and Sproles probably worked as hard as he could to make sure that that wasn't released back then too. So I'm glad the truth came out. All right, so that is a little bit of Henry County news. I do want to make one other clarification. Last night, while talking about the post that was made on the Henry County Republican Facebook page, I made the mistake of saying that their chair made the post, that it was Todd Hyde that posted the picture of the Sproles post, and that then he heard from down, and that was not factually accurate. Todd Hyde did not make the actual post. The post was made by either one of the Garishes or the other individual that's connected to them. Someone that was not the chair, and it was actually the chair that said, "Oh, this is probably not good for the county. This is not good for the sheriff, honestly." And because he is a child, and sometimes he doesn't understand that, no, you can't touch the hot stove. We have to make sure that he doesn't, his dumb little 12-year-old ass or 8-year-old, 2-year-old doesn't touch the stove, you know. So that's really crazy. All right, so I wanted to clarify that too. Moving on, we have two important things that we're going to talk about tonight. Again, these things are specifically based out of Delaware County. However, they have relevance to those in other areas, those doing other political things in other counties and in other cities and states. So it's good information. Kind of in connection with last night, we're going to be talking about a letter that has been sent out by two individuals. Someone that used to be a party chairman, and then another individual who has had time in county government and has been a precinct committee person and yada, yada, yada. And so they've come together, they've joined forces, and they've put forward a letter that they have sent out to the precinct committee people of the Republican Party. And we're going to take a look at that letter here in a little bit. We're going to dissect that letter, and I'm going to tell you if I have, good thoughts about the letter or bad thoughts about the letter, and we'll let you decide. But before we get into that story, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you about a situation that has to burn oh so badly. And the reason I know that it does is because over in this direction, it burns. Oh, baby, but it burns so good. It's so good. And I know it's so bad for the people that are involved with this. And it just makes me giggle like a little schoolgirl because I know that it hurts these people so badly. So last night I know Counselor Webb, some of the things that I've seen going on, and I'm going to say specifically in Madison County and in Delaware County, some of the things that I have witnessed going on in this primary election season have been some of the most insane things I've ever witnessed before in local primary elections. It's honestly, it's laughable. So if I were to take a poll of candidates, winners, losers, people who've worked on campaigns, and everybody involved in that, and ask them what the worst part of the whole campaign process was. Number one, a lot of people would say right off the bat, asking for money. Just straight off the bat, asking for money. But some people don't have a problem doing that. Hands down, the number one thing that most people are going to talk about is yard signs. Everybody hates yard signs. They hate asking people to put up yard signs. They hate planting yard signs. They hate keeping track of yard signs. They hate the bullshit that goes into all of the games that go on with signs, the stealing of the signs, removing of the signs, writing and marking on the signs, tearing signs up, how expensive the signs are. The signs are expensive. The little signs, the big signs, the stakes, all of the crap that goes into political yard signs. Now, I have said, I thought with the advent of social media, and I've said this, I'll catch you. I'll catch you, Jack. I'll send it your way, brother. I just gotta turn a couple fives into 20s, and I'll get. Oh, sorry, I didn't say it out loud, did I? And I hope the Secret Service is not listening. Yard signs are horrible. And I said long ago that I thought with social media that the yard signs would become a thing of the past. And now that has not happened yet. I would like to believe, and I probably believe that maybe not in our lifetimes, but at some point in the not too distant future, political yard signs are going to be a thing of the past. And I'm here for it. I hate yard signs. I hate the whole process of it. Well, hey, thank you there very much, Mr. Dale. I try once every 3 months to clean up. I try my best. And so here we are. So yesterday, the sheriff of Delaware County made a post, and I think that we might have talked about this. Thank you, Mr. Dale. I think we may have talked about this, but I just want to really briefly explain to you his post again. So Tony made a post yesterday that looked like this. Tony Skinner, politics makes strange bedfellows. Isn't that what they say? It's especially true this year today when I saw James King sign posted on the UAW property on South Walnut Street in Muncie, and it made me think of that old saying. You see, 3 short years ago, James was single-handedly responsible for doing away with the UAW's last active union in Delaware County. James was the president of the county commissioners in 2021, and this was one of his first official actions for the year. They did a good job of creating a narrative that ending the union was my fault, meaning the sheriffs, and that I, the sheriff, asked them to do it. All lies. But here we are. The union spent tens of thousands of dollars to get the sheriff out of office the following year to no avail. And now they are supporting the man who signed them out of existence. It's kind of like the chickens supporting Colonel Sanders. After reading this post, I hope all the union members in Delaware County realize who the real culprit was and that you had the wool pulled over your eyes on May 7th. Let's give James King an early retirement party. Vote Stephen Brand for commissioner. All right. Then the sheriff posted this picture. And this picture is a picture of James King, a James King sign in the yard of the UAW building there on South Walnut Street. Okay. And that post was there. Now, the sheriff also happened to share a couple other interesting things that I'm gonna put up here on the screen. They're gonna be a little bit harder for you to see, but I'm just gonna show you that they do exist. This was the resolution number 2021-002, a resolution rescinding the collective bargaining for employees. And it's there. The Board of Commissioners shall terminate the agreement between the County Commissioners of Delaware County and the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, bargaining units 1 and 2, the Delaware County Emergency Communications Center E911 bargaining unit, and the International Union, United Automotive, Aerospace, and Agricultural Implement Workers of America, Local 321, UAW Region 2B, upon its expiration on April 9th, 2021. And then from there, moving on, it says the Board of Commissioners rescind any and all prior resolutions which recognize any representation, opportunity, obligation, right, or ability for any group of employees and or labor organization to be recognized for the purpose of collective bargaining, employment terms, conditions, benefits, or other employment considerations. And then, of course, it was signed on the 4th day of January, 2021 by Shannon Henry, Sherry Riggin, and James King. And you see it right there. It's all right there. Well, that was posted up online yesterday, and what actually happened from there was a bunch of back and forth occurred. A bunch of citizens were talking, and a bunch of supporters of King. Well, not a bunch of supporters of James King, but some supporters of James King. And then other folks were going back and forth, yada, 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 and doing all of that. But one interesting person commented, and that was none other than Mr. Larry Foster. Larry Foster wrote a long post, and I'm going to, for transparency, let you see all of it. But the first part of the post reads as follows. Tony Skinner, Sheriff, as a founding member of the UAW Local 321 Sheriff's Department bargaining units, past local union president, bargaining chairman, retired international representative, and current executive board member, let me thank you for your concern of our property. The sign was placed there. The sign was placed there without permission. Now, look, that's not just a little small yard sign, folks. This is someone's got to get out and take a fence post beater and drive these fence posts down in. Now, you'll notice, I don't know who was doing it, but they didn't do it properly. They just barely, I mean, a wind could have blew these over. But they got out and attempted to, just barely tap those down in, tap, tap, tap. The sign was placed there without permission. The UAW as an organization has not endorsed or supported anyone in this political race. I am sure our members remember Mr. King's, Mr. Henry's, and Miss Riggins' decision to get rid of the 911 dispatchers bargaining unit of the UAW Local 321. Okay? Now, I want to be very clear. This is bad. I cannot believe, for the love of God, that James King and or any of his supporters would feel like they could do this. I cannot believe, and I'll be honest, I don't know who put this there, but I have a really sneaking suspicion maybe the person didn't actually put this there, but I have a really sneaking suspicion on who told them to put this there. And that would be none other than Mr. Mike Jones. Mr. Mike Jones is the stamp licker for Delaware County. He is the little Chihuahua for the commissioners. He's there in the back barking. Ruff, 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 ruff. James King tells me to do this. Shannon Henry tells me to do this, and he's the go-to, the fixer for the commissioners, if you will. And he prides himself on being a longtime union stooge, a thug, and that's how Mike Jones lives his life. He's lived his life like that. Mike Jones has been absolutely borderline, recklessly insane throughout this election. Like the fact that King or Bookout or anyone would not go to him and say, please, you are hurting us. Quit making all of these ignorant ass comments that you're making all over social media. But he just keeps right on doing it. It's just what he does. I don't know. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to make a phone call to him Wednesday morning, and I'm going to ask him what happened when his boy loses, his boy being King. Yeah, that's his. He has this stamp framed above his favorite seat in the house, I think. And so to find out that this sign of James was placed without permission, without consent of the UAW, without support of the UAW to this candidate, I was shocked. So I commented straight away, Larry Foster, so let me ask you this extremely important question. Seeing how you're saying this re-elect James King sign has been placed in the yard at 3501 South Walnut Street, Muncie, Indiana, without permission, have you or someone else there removed the sign from, have you or someone else there removed the sign? Have you asked someone from the King team to come pull the sign? And then I tagged, yeah, it's on private property. Blows my mind. I tagged Mike Jones, clean up on aisle. Whoops, that's embarrassing. Seems as if you and your crew are thought of as well there as you are everywhere else. Bottom line, when is this sign coming down? Inquiring minds want to know. All right. I got a response in pretty quick order. Mr. Foster said, sign was taken down this morning. Feel free to check. And the appropriate people have been notified as it is not welcome on our property. Thanks for inquiring. So I was shocked. Now, so that I am not accused of just telling you all the side that makes me happy and makes my heart beat, I am going to let you see the rest of Larry's comment, because Larry's comment after that also took digs at the sheriff because, let's face it, he's not happy with things going on now. I think that he might be a little wrong in this case. They're going to have to fight this out in court and see what happens. Larry's comment after he says that, the sign was not there and he thinks that the members remember King and Henry and Sherry's decision to get rid of them. They remember it. He goes on and he says this. This is where the commissioner's authority stops. If you will recall, your breach of agreement and failure to bargain in good faith is what the UAW members are now challenging in court, which there is a lawsuit. He goes on to say, so if you really care about your employees, UAW members, let's return to the bargaining table and save the taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars instead of paying your high dollar out of town attorneys. We will negotiate in good faith anytime you are available. I have attached the cause number and other information so the readers can see. And in fairness to this, and I will go back and I want to make sure that everyone's side gets read from this. The sheriff does respond and he says to Mr. Foster, it's humorous that you expect me to bargain in good faith with a pending union lawsuit against me. I mean, let's be honest. While the lawsuit is there, these two people should not even really be speaking to one another. All right. The fact that the sheriff made a post, and I can respect the fact that Larry went on and said what he said as far as, hey, we didn't give signs. But past that, they should not be commenting about this. They should be speaking through their attorneys. So the sheriff is totally right here. Like, we can't go back to the table and start bargaining in good faith until something goes on with this lawsuit. That's not how good faith bargaining works. But I'm glad you stated that King posted a sign without permission. I don't believe that for 1 second, but nice to know you throw him under the bus. Now, listen, I don't know. I don't know Mr. Foster at all. I don't know him from Adam. And I don't know. I have no reason to believe that they didn't tell him to put the sign there. Look, they ripped the sign down and told the people to come get them. So either way, I think it's funny. I think it's kind of a bad look for James. It's a bad look for Mike. And I'm telling you, I think the writing is on the wall for the King, Jones, and honestly, I hope book out kind of situation because that it all is not good for Delaware County because they all are so intertwined that I think it's just time for that dynasty to go on and be done. So I just thought that was interesting. And, you don't normally see such a public display of like a you messed up kind of a situation. And it couldn't happen to a better person, honestly. So it was what it was. All right. From there, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the big part of the troll letter and whatnot, I do have a little bit more information that pertains to the situation right now that we're going through, where it seems like Dan Ridenour's people are kind of like dropping like flies. What are we up to? Let's see. In the good old fashioned book of department heads, we are now to well, if you only count to Mikah Wilson, there are 21 department heads that have left in under Ridenour's watch. Remember, the first 15 vacated one way or another their position in the first year and a half of Ridenour's time as mayor. So that's pretty insane. And as I reported last night, ladies and gentlemen, when I was told to look into this, I was given some names. I was given the name of a company, and I'm just going to quickly take you back through this. So I was told to look into Greenlight Resources. I was told that I needed to look into Dustin Clark. I was told several names of people that I needed to look into and determine if there was an issue going on here. And quite quickly, there started being lines drawn between, different people and the City of Muncie and the Visitors Bureau, because a lot of people might not know this. A lot of people might not know that you would think that the Muncie Visitors Bureau, that's connected. That's connected to the City of Muncie. Yeah, obviously it is, but it's also connected to the county. Their funding comes from the innkeeper's tax, yada yada yada. There's aspects that the county's involved in. There's aspect that Dan's involved with. So the Visitors Bureau is not like a city department or specifically a county department. It's kind of like it's a unit that's kind of come together, and it's subsidized by both. Okay. So what we've heard, and what just the quick recap is, Mikah Wilson resigned of her own accord, or that's what we're being led to believe, last week. She then made the real cryptic post that she's having a chance to work from home and she'll be able to help hold the government accountable. Well, what does that mean? So then pretty quickly after Micah's exit from City Hall, on Friday, I learned that Kevin Kirby, the director of the Muncie Visitors Bureau, which has been called Visit Muncie or Destination Muncie, has been rebranded, that he was replaced. He was pulled out. And then just a short time after that, I heard that the marketing director, Trenton Bush, was also pulled out of his place in the Visitors Bureau. So now, wait a minute. I'm hearing Mikah's gone. Mikah was looking into Greenlight. Greenlight Resources has something to do with the City of Muncie, has something to do with the Visitors Bureau, and Micah's gone, and now Kevin and Trent are gone from the Visitors Bureau. And then Saturday, oh my gosh, I hear that Dustin Clark is out on administrative leave. Now, I have to tell you, from everything that I have been looking into with the Visitors Bureau up to this point has been extremely forthcoming and helpful, and have been able to be as upfront and honest as they can in a situation like this. The City of Muncie does what the City of Muncie does. It is reactionary. Ridenour does everything that he can do to not answer questions, and Team Ridenour is really just hiding in the dark, trying to hide from the light, from the extra eyes that are on him because of this. Well, I issued a records request to the City of Muncie, and I have now been in talks with the folks at the Visitors Bureau, and the Visitors Bureau did release a press release this morning. I told you last night that I had a copy of what I thought the press release was going to be, and it's pretty close. The press release, ladies and gentlemen, here, is from the attorneys representing the Muncie Visitors Bureau, and it says, "Dear members of the media," and it was sent to Steve Lindell and myself. Amazing. They didn't even send this. This was not sent to the Star Press. Like, I don't even know if the Star Press has an email anymore. My God. "You are receiving this message because you have inquired about recent developments of Visit Muncie, Inc., which that's the Visitors Bureau now. The board is not able to discuss any matters involving the employment of any individual employee. However, the board can confirm that it is conducting an investigation involving the breach of certain bylaws of the organization related to a sponsorship awarded to the Solar Eclipse Committee, specifically Art 5, Sections 6 and 8. 6 through 8. In the spirit of transparency, the board intends to release the documents which support the investigation and concern. I am attaching to this letter copies of the minutes from the year 2024 and the relevant sections of our bylaws, as well as minutes involving the solar eclipse sponsorship from November 2023. You will also be receiving in the coming days financial documents, including invoices and canceled checks related to this issue. The public can be assured that the board has taken this matter seriously, that there will be no further violations of these provisions of the bylaws, and that all proper financial protocols and controls will be followed by the staff. Okay? So there is the press release. And yes, as who was that said that? As Annie has stated, I'll tell you, it's Brandon Murphy who sent that letter out. And it's Mr. Murphy who I have been communicating with in passing just to like get this going out. And I'll tell you what I've always said about Brandon. Brandon is the quintessential attorney. He's never out of pocket. He is always measured in response. He's always, quiet, thoughtful, and always is. It's always turning up here. You can always tell he's thinking, and he is just, I can't think of many better attorneys. I mean, I really hold Brandon Murphy in high regard. And I'm telling you, I don't even know what all law this dude practices, but I'm going to tell you, I think he does pretty much everything. I'm just putting you out. This is not a sponsorship. He does not give me money. He did not pay me to say this. I've never used him as an attorney. I don't know if I can say that or not. I don't know if I have or not. I know I don't think I ever have. But if you need an attorney in the Muncie, Delaware County, East Central Indiana area, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you look up Brandon Murphy and give him at least a call. I will also say in that same vein, I will throw out a shout out to Delk McNally as well. The epitome of professionalism. Both of these individuals. I just really, I really find that these people are going to be great attorneys. They are great attorneys now, and it's going to be great to see what they do in the next several years and or decades in our community. I'm very happy to see how the Visitors Bureau is handling this. Now, there was nothing in that press release that said anything about who has left or who's not left, who's there. But I can tell you, it is absolutely confirmed through sources that are connected to the board, the Visitors Bureau board, as well as the staff at the Visitors Bureau, I can tell you that the former, let me pull this up here real quick and show you this. I want to show you for the people that maybe have not seen, man, did they do, that's really amazing. Let's see if I can find here. Well, I was going to get pictures of, I was going to find pictures of both Kevin, Kirby, and Trent Bush, but I'll have to get them at another time. Kevin Kirby is the man that did not live here, and that there was this great big search the county put out, and they paid lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money to try to find a man to come in and be the executive director. That's Kevin Kirby. He is no longer in his position at the Visitors Bureau. And Trenton Bush is a Muncie, Delaware County native. I actually went to school with him. He was a couple years older than me, and he was the marketing director at the Visitors Bureau. And both of those individuals have been removed from the Visitors Bureau. They are no longer there. And the current interim director for the Visitors Bureau is, I want to say this right, LaShanta Vaughn. LaShanta Vaughn is the new current interim director. So that's what's going on there. So if and when this investigation ends and something turns out to be wrong, wait a minute, who are you talking about? He's not a saint. Tweety Bird, who are you talking about? Who's not a saint? But yeah, they're both out, and it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that, and it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. Now, Mikah Wilson, what is maybe still is on the board. I don't know. To my knowledge, she's still on the board at the Visitors Bureau, and I'm going to tell you this is the opinion time now. I'm going to let you know a little bit of opinion here. It is my opinion that what was going on at the Visitors Bureau, because of that, she started looking into the city, because this is how it gets back to Dustin Clark. We all know that last year, probably even well in advance, last year, maybe before that, the city of Muncie, through Michelle Owen, started pushing this solar eclipse. It was going to be a big thing. And we've all talked about what a wonderful job she did and all of this, okay? Well, last night we went over the connection between Michelle and Dustin. I don't know. I have been told by many that they are in some kind of a romantic relationship. Okay. I don't know what the deal is there. I don't know if they're in a romantic situation or if it's just a business relationship or whatever. But they have a home together that they have bought here in Muncie, that they have and they own a home together. All right. They work together and they own this home together. All right. That's interesting. Okay. On top of that, when they created this idea for this solar project, it's not just the city of Muncie that was like, hey, we want to do something for this solar. You've got the city of Muncie, you've got Delaware County, you've got AMA, which is the American Model Aeronautics thing that's out southeast of town. You've got the Delaware County Fairground and, all of that stuff. Okay. So they all come together and they say, let's create a committee. Okay. And so they are going to create this committee. And as you saw there, I'm going to show you here again. Look here in this press release. However, the board can confirm that it's conducting an investigation involving the breach of certain bylaws of the organization related to a sponsorship that was awarded to the Solar Eclipse Committee. Okay. Well, now, in order to fully understand what we're looking at there, we now need to look at the November minutes of the Visitors Bureau. Okay. Let me pull this up and show you.
Tweety Bird finally answered his or her earlier comment about not being a saint.
Oh, he's no saint. I don't know. I mean, maybe he might be into torture, or I don't know anything about him. I'm just saying he's done well by me, and he seems to be on the up and up with everything I've dealt with him with. Hell, I don't know. He might like dark metal ska, or I don't know, death hymns. I don't know. I don't live with him or anything, but he's done all right with me as far as what he needs to do. I'll put it to you this way: there are a lot worse attorneys than him in Delaware County, and I could do a whole 7 shows giving you those names. But yeah, I hear you. I get you. I feel you. All right, back to this the minutes.
Can you go up, because I want to point something out in these that were a little weird. So financial reports.
Where's that at? Mm-hmm.
Right there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Motion to table October financial reports.
Yeah.
Made a motion to table the financial. So they talk in that letter about how being fiscally responsible or something like that, being careful with the money and things like that. Did you notice in all of the minutes that you got, except for one, I think, the financial reports were tabled in every single one? How can you track the money when you're not even looking at the financial reports?
I have a little bit of background on this. And,
okay.
And the reason I
appreciate that, because that's been bugging the shit out of me.
The reason being there is, and we're talking about facts not yet in evidence, because the audience hasn't seen this, but talking to Kate, what you will have noticed in looking at these is there was a little bit of issue with, it seems like there was a communication problem between the board and like Kevin, Kirby, and there was like a communication error going on there. And basically what happens was they were saying, like, we're not going to look at this and we're not going to approve anything until we get more communication from you. They were asking this guy, we want to table this until you bring us the information that we're asking for, and then we'll pull everything off the table. We'll vote and we'll look at it then, but we're not doing anything until then. And so that's kind of, they were trying to get the communication ironed out. And so that's why they were tabling them. So at least they weren't voting on certain aspects of that. So I understand where you're coming from, and I definitely see that as a concern. But I can understand why they were saying, like, yo, we want to have all the information before we get that. So I understand that. So, that's what was going on, because there was a serious communication between apparently Kevin and the staff and the board. They were not explaining them stuff. And it was kind of like what we hear out of the Board of Works. And here, we heard Dan was fighting this, that we were having people spend money that they weren't approving. And it was like, well, we're going to spend $5,000 here. And the board's saying, no, anything that you're going to spend that's $5,000 or more, you need to bring before the board. We need to do that. You know what I mean? So that's very, very important. So, okay, let me go back to this. What's of interest here, though, is, and what I want to make sure that we're not losing here, and this is very important. This is the minutes for November down here in new business. There was a motion by Mikah Wilson to approve $15,000 to the Solar Eclipse Committee. Now, okay, and it was seconded by Nick Papandrea, and the vote carried 6-0. Okay, so that means the board voted to open up and start this Solar Eclipse Committee back in November of last year. Who's the Solar Eclipse Committee? What's the Solar Eclipse Committee? Well, so I don't have the full grouping of who was supposed to be on this Solar Eclipse Committee, but I will tell you that, yes, Annie, they handle things different than the Board of Works. The Solar Eclipse Committee, while it might be made up of various names and various people, it very quickly became two people. It became Michelle Owen from the City of Muncie and Trenton Bush from the Visitors Bureau. Those two people. And so what that committee was wanting to do was they were wanting to buy shirts and buy the solar glasses and doing things like that. Okay. And so that's what they were wanting to do. And yes, we will have invoices, we will have checks, and we will have all of this. I have issued a records request to the City of Muncie, and I've been in communications for records from the zoning. I keep saying zoning, for the Visitors Bureau, and so we will hopefully have the records tomorrow. That being said, the issue here is, this is now, we're moving into some speculation by myself. I think what we're going to see is the Solar Committee then turns the job of creating the Delaware County City of Muncie Solar Experience over to none other than Greenlight Resources. And it was Greenlight Resources that was then responsible for doing things for the Visitors Bureau and for the City of Muncie. Now, I don't have any of this, but I'm being told through sources that I have talked to that Greenlight Resources was submitting Greenlight Resources was submitting invoices to the Visitors Bureau and getting paid for things, or they were submitting resources and saying, look, this is where this $15,000 is going. So, I'm going to have to see how much money or what exactly was paid. Was it the 15,000 and that's it? Was it the 15,000 and more? And then what I'm also being told by my other sources is not only was Greenlight Resources getting money from the Visitors Bureau, but they were also submitting invoices to the City of Muncie. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, and I can, matter of fact, I can show you. Stand by, I'll show you. I don't need to tell you, I can show you. Second. $12.15. Monthly. Gotta let this load so I can get this pulled up to show you. Okay. Okay. Present, share screen. Share. Share this. Okay. Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to blow this up.
Christopher's off screen, so paying attention. So we've got a question from Annie Nominus.
Yeah.
So was Mikah Wilson asking the city about Greenlight and told to shut the fuck up?
Was who?
Mikah Wilson.
Well, so that's the thought. Yeah. That basically because of Mikah Wilson's double edge position being in HR for the City of Muncie and being on the board, basically what I've heard from a source is she's hearing Greenlight Resources from the Visitors Bureau. And then one day she walks into the mayor's office and notices that one of the computers in the mayor's office has an invoice up looking at it for Greenlight Resources. And she's like, wait a minute, what what are they sending invoices to the city of Muncie for? So then she goes in search of this, and she's told basically, you need to quit looking for this. This is none of your business. Okay, can you guys see there? It's really, really tiny. I'm trying to make it to where you guys can see it. But I don't understand why I can't blow this up. Basically, you can see it. You can see it over here, right? You see it in the pink.
It's passable.
So, yeah. So basically what it says over here on the side is 12/15/23, Greenlight Resources, LLC, $7,500. And it was from the Board of Works. It was paid out. It was paid out in check number 262079 on 12/15/23 through the Board of Works for other services and charges, and I'm sure that it came out of edit. So, you know, this right here, that's just one time. I will tell you that without getting the records, okay, without having a records request, I have went through and found a total of, let me tell you what the total is. $17,500 just from the city of Muncie over 3 months. So in 3 months, Greenlight Resources has requested and been paid $17,500 from the city of Muncie. They've got at least $15,000 from the Visitors Bureau, and I was told that it was at least $50-some thousand.
Can you address this one?
I'm catching up. Dustin Clark out for all positions. If he is in fact out on administrative leave, he would be on administrative leave for everything he does for the city of Muncie. And so essentially, like I said last night, and this is just a recap. As I said last night, more or less, this is very similar to what Craig Nichols was doing. Now, look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here just for a second. It could very well be that there's just a grouping of individuals who wanted to throw Muncie a really good party for the eclipse. The eclipse was cool. You know, maybe they wanted to do well and do good for the city of Muncie. But in that case, in playing devil's advocate, I would say, well, wait a minute. If that's the case, where's the contract? Did they bid for this or did they not bid for this? If they didn't bid for this, why did they not bid for this? If they just picked and they were allowed to be, why was that the case? Who is in charge? Why can we not call and get a hold of anybody? I've reached out to a couple different people and I've not been able to get in touch with anyone from Greenlight Resources. Where are they at now? You know, the only contact that there is for Greenlight Resources, is this individual right here. I'm getting ready to show you this right here. There's one contact for Greenlight Resources. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Morgan Warden. And as you see, we have two mutual friends together. Who are our mutual friends? Oh, well, that's Michelle Owen and Dustin Clark. Mutual friends. Oh! No! Dustin Clark has removed himself from this. last night, ladies and gentlemen. See, he's very, very, very sneaky, but he's not that sneaky because we have it captured. We pulled this up last night and we looked at this. Man, that you know what? He's so dumb. Listen to me out there in the world, Dustin and Michelle and whoever else is listening to this. The cover up is worse than the crime. It's worse.
Is it one of our favorite sayings? Screenshots are forever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yes, Jackie is saying here, please clarify. So, well, that's not exactly true, Jackie. So the Muncie Visitors Bureau is what most normal people know that this event, this organization has been called the Muncie Visitors Bureau. At some point, they've called themselves and told everybody that branded as Destination Muncie. That's not technically true. If you look at their name as it appears on their attorney's letterhead, not the letterhead, but the attorney's press release, their name is Visit Muncie, Inc. So they have been listed as Visit Muncie, Inc. So it's Muncie Visitors Bureau / Destination Muncie / Visit Muncie. I don't know what's what. I don't know who's who. Oh, no, let me tell you. Okay, no, I'm hearing. All right, I'm getting it. I'm getting this on other. Let me. Okay, all right. I'm hearing this from other sources. Let me tell you here. Okay, no. All right, let me go back and tell you here, Dirty Dustin. And what can I call Owen? Whatever. Dirty Dustin and Michelle, let me tell you, it works the same way. He's still her friend. He's just blocked me, so he thinks that's going to stop me from seeing what he does on social media, you tool. So just really quickly, so we can prove that I'm not out of my head. Let me just go back. I'm sorry that we're having to because we're not actually getting into what I'm trying to talk about.
What's this girl's name?
Morgan Wallen. Not Morgan Wallen. Isn't that some kind of country singer? Morgan Warden. Morgan Warden. That's like a fake name. Morgan Warden.
There you go.
Let's see it. You got it
She's
up there?
Got her stuff
okay.
Wide open, and I can see her friends list, and Dustin Clark pops up first.
Okay, yeah. And
we're don't get sidetracked. Keep going.
So then if you get, well, I was just going back and looking. I just wanted to get Dustin. So if you go back there, so on hers you see Dustin, and on mine you can see Michelle. So bottom line is that's a connection to Morgan at Greenlight Resources. The other thing here, I want to show you this, is if you go and you try to find someone, if you try to find any information out about Greenlight Resources, I'm going to take you to one other little sneaky snake thing here. and that is this. This is LinkedIn. And when you go to LinkedIn and I just Googled Greenlight Resources. And when I did that, the name Delaney Fritsch popped up. And it says, Project Specialist, Muncie, Indiana, Experience, Eli Lilly Company, Greenlight Resources, LLC, and 5 more. And one mutual contact or connection is Dan Ridenour. Now, Delaney Fritsch was someone who worked in community development in the city of Muncie. She worked there for some time. She just recently stopped working there, and she now works at Eli Lilly. And everyone that has talked to me about this has told me they don't believe she was involved in anything. She's probably just somebody that got sucked into trying to do something cool, and she's kind of out of the picture now, but she works for Eli Lilly. But that's the only other thing. And so bottom line is everything that's pointing back to Greenlight Resources is Greenlight Resources is pointing back to the city of Muncie. It's pointing back to Dustin Clark. It's pointing back to Michelle Owen. It's pointing back to the Visitors Bureau, Visit Muncie, Destination Muncie, whatever you want to call it. And the bottom line is, like every other aspect in politics and dirty corruption and crazy nonsense, follow the money. Follow the money. Money, money, money. Follow the money. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to get these records, these other records from the Visitors Bureau. We're going to get these records from the city of Muncie. I did send an email in to the city of Muncie today asking if they could confirm or deny the fact that Dustin Clark was on administrative leave. And I will tell you that I also heard today from a source that there is a 4th person involved in this. And from that source, they said the 4th person involved was Michelle Owen. I have no proof of that. I don't know. I'm just telling you what sources have told me. And I've asked the city of Muncie today at like 11:30 if both or one or two of those people are on administrative leave. And at 4:30 today, Michelle Owen actually responded to me. So she's still there. She responded by her city email saying, as you know, we will not discuss personnel issues. So I've just got to say, Dan, for the love of God, don't delay on this. Get out in front of this, man. Get out in front of this. And I just want to say to Mikah, and if Micah's out there listening, and if anyone out there is listening to this and you know Mikah Wilson, I'm going to say this right now. Mikah and I have not always been on the same side of things. Very, very rarely. She has not liked a lot of what I've done because I've held Ridenour accountable and I've called Ridenour out. And so because she's worked for Ridenour, she has not liked me. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any name she's ever called me. I don't care about how she's ever treated me. I don't care about how I've treated her. I'll apologize to her for everything, all the battles that we've ever had. I'm telling you right now, Mikah, if you're out there listening, if someone's out there listening that knows Mikah, Mikah and I need to talk. Mikah and I need to talk. Like Annie said, if this is true and this has happened in the way that it's happening, she's going to be the hero here. So I'm just saying, I need to talk to Mikah Wilson. I need to talk to Mikah. I want to talk to her tomorrow. Don't delay on this. Call me. Call me. You know people that can put you in contact with me. Give me your number. Let's tell one of them to give me your number. Unblock me on Facebook. I tried hitting you up on LinkedIn. I just created a LinkedIn tonight just to try to hit you up. So let's get with it, because you've got some hidden keys that I need. I think I have some things that you might need. I'll start walking your way. You start walking mine. And we'll meet in the middle, like that country song once said. So there's that. So that's just the quick update. And I want to say this for the record. I wish she was on here. I don't think she's on here. She's got a job, so she watches at weird times. If Mikah is doing the right thing here, I don't know if she is. She might be part of the dirt. I don't know. I don't know until I hear from her or hear whatever. I don't know. If Mikah was trying to do the right thing here and the city shut her down and gave her like an option where she had to quit or be fired, or they told her to shut up and mind her own business, or stop digging and mind her own business, or quit and mind, whatever. If they did that and she was digging, trying to do the right thing and trying to do the right thing for the city and do the right thing for the taxpayers, and the city of Muncie, meaning Dan Ridenour or someone else, if they dogpiled her for this and they shit canned her and they pushed her out, first of all, that's bullshit. All right. But I want to be very clear. In the situation that happened with Dennis Tyler and happened with Craig Nichols, there were people in that administration that were saying, hey, it's getting pretty bad. Maybe it's time to cut Craig loose, or go this way, or do that, or do this, or do that. And when that stuff didn't happen or whatever, maybe what the person said didn't happen or whatever, but at least Dennis never shit-canned people for speaking their mind. They were always allowed to speak their mind, sometimes went against Dennis even. And look, Dennis went through, he's pled guilty, he's done his thing, all that shit's happened. They've done their time. It's part of the justice center system, doing your crime and then coming out the other side and not having to be tormented the rest of your life because of it. I will tell you this. If Ridenour came into office, the very next mayor after the Dennis Tyler debacle, and has people in his staff that's doing quite possibly the same damn thing, and they're not coming out on top of it, and they're laying back and trying to play reactionary with it, and they're trying to do nonsensical bullshit like this, and they're acting like this, and I don't know that this is happening. That's why I'm saying if Mikah was doing the right thing and they gave her shit for it and pushed her out, there is no question that would make Ridenour worse than Dennis Tyler. And I'm telling you, we're real early in the second term. But there were a lot of people that ate a lot of shit for what happened with Dennis. And I'm telling you that if that same stuff is going on under Dan the Man, it's going to be a long 3 years. Because Dan will deserve every bit of vitriol, nonsense, just pile on that he gets. Woo! Woo! That will be very, very crazy. So, time will tell. Micah, I want to talk to you. I'd be interested in hearing what you got to say. You can still hate me. You can hate me and hate everything I do. I want to hear what you got to say. You're no longer in the thick of it, so you get no shit from me. And I apologize for all of our battles, but I want to hear from you. I would like to talk. So just FYI, I'm putting that out there. You can call me tonight after the show. You can call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Call me at 6 o'clock in the morning. You call me at your time. I will talk to you. All right. For the last story, before we roll, I got to talk to you guys about this very important last bit of information. And it kind of goes, oh, that's right. Pause. Mayor of Muncie, that's right. I need to reach out to Trent Conway. I wanted to and find out because he was the old controller that was here before Craig Wright, and he left in a very kind of crazy, like leave in the middle of the night, pack what you can pack and don't look back type of way. He was in and out, like lickety split. So I might try to reach out to him too. That's good thinking. Okay. So, the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, this letter, man. This letter is nuts. All right. I'm going to read this to you. Greetings, Republicans. Oh, God. Greetings, Republicans. Greetings. Who says greetings? Greetings, Republicans, friends, precinct committee persons, contributors, poll workers. As we enter the 2024 presidential election cycle, we are all engaged in local elections as well. As former Delaware County chairpersons and elected party officers, we have developed valued relations with elected officials and like-minded voters. Oh, my God. Do Republicans really talk like this? Our common goals were to provide Delaware County with the best possible services at affordable tax rates. We have been rewarded with previous election results, and we are challenged with continuing good government. Let me tell you, you are damn sure challenged with that, and you're not doing very well. It's looking to provide too challenging for you. You're right. You're definitely challenged with continuing good government. We are proud that Delaware County voters have rewarded us with Republicans holding every elected office in Delaware County government, with the exception of one judge, which, let's talk about that one judge. In talking about Brandon Murphy, quote unquote, getting that guy off for killing his wife, listen, folks, we can't be conservatives and talk about the conservative way and being innocent until proven guilty. And then when you're guilty, you're still in there and you might be a D-bag, but you still have constitutional rights, yada, yada, yada. You're allowed to have attorneys, and there have to be attorneys that take the other side. That's just always going to be. I'm not going to kick a man for doing a job. He doesn't have to like or respect his clients. He just has to make sure that the people's constitutional rights aren't being violated. And I don't blame that nonsense on Murphy. I blame that nonsense on Judge Kim Dowling. Judge Dowling did that nonsense with that guy. And in my opinion, it had nothing to do with Murphy. It had to do with Dowling being just right out of her gourd. Anyways, it's sad that we didn't have an attorney that ran against her, because she's going to just waltz into another 6-year term, which is just absolutely disgusting. But I digress. With the exception of one judge and prosecutor, this, in addition to the majorities on almost every town council and advisory board in Delaware County. Right. And it's all shite. It's all bad. Nothing's good. The Indiana super duper quadruple majority that we have sucks right now. It's no good. Although we are no longer elected party officials, that's right, we continue to support the conservative. No. Don't say that. You continue to support the Republican values, which are screwed up, and they are not the conservative values. They are the Republican insanity. We support their ideas, conservative values, represented by our current Delaware County Republican candidates and office holders. As a result, the Delaware County roads, bridges, and other infrastructures have been have seen marked improvements. I guess these people aren't talking about Muncie. There has been great improvements also in providing much needed veteran service, along with thousands of stable jobs. Where are these thousands of jobs that James King's people keep talking about?
And the veteran services, they don't get credit for. Their VSO that they have over there, he gets the credit for that, because he has done a kick-ass job.
Yep. It's not... It's not been a man in Florida and an insane person. Let me just tell you, this letter is nuts. Okay, let's keep on going. Along with thousands of stable jobs, where are they at? Substantial wages, who sees that? And good benefits, okay, that have been created due to the economic development efforts. That's a joke. This has resulted in significant growth within Delaware County. What? It is therefore our honor and pleasure to endorse efforts of the Delaware County Chairman, Ed Carroll. Listen to me. Right there is all you need to know. If someone is endorsing Ed Carroll, then they are an unserious person. They are endorsing the efforts of Ed Carroll, the county chairman, and his central committee as they lead Delaware County. Republican candidates in the May 7th primary election. The incumbents have a proven track record of success, and the new candidates will continue that successful tradition. We respectfully ask for your support and vote on May 7th for candidates listed below. James King, a long-term Democrat. So what? Sherry Riggin, I'm not even sure if she's been awake in the last 10 or 15 years. Brad Bookout, a long-term Democrat. Jessica Piper, that's a joke. And Eugene Whitehead, county council. Signed, Tom Bennington. Okay? Now, this letter came to the people that consider themselves an appointed or elected as Republican Party precinct committee people. in Delaware County, and they were told to keep it to themselves. It was posted in a group, and it was said that you cannot take pictures of this, and they did not want to see this posted out anywhere. So I needed to post it for all to see. It's very, very comical. And I will tell you, yes, instead of writing this letter, Tom Bennington needs to go pet the alligator in his backyard. That would be a much better use of your time, sir. You should have pinned this letter, took it directly out, and pet the alligator in your backyard. I think that would have been much, much better. Listen, they are all part of this James King, Mike Jones, antiquated dinosaur relic-like time period. They believe that you should never speak out against the wrongs, even if those wrongs are coming from another Republican. You should never speak out against them. You should never try to better the overall health of the party at hand. You should never welcome new ideas. Folks, Brand is going to win. That's that. Brand has this election sewn up. Vote for Troy Ingram over Sherry Riggin. I know that maybe Ingram came into the election late, and I've heard a couple people say, well, he's been quiet here and there. Whatever. Listen to me. Go in and cast your vote for Troy Ingram. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. If Brand wins, it will be Brand, Shannon Henry, and Sherry Riggin. I think that Brand could turn it around and could pull Riggin to his side. But let's not make him work for it. Let's pull the string, the Band-Aid right off. That's what I was looking for. Let's pull the Band-Aid right off. Let's not continue to just inch it along. Well, we'll get rid of King, but we need to keep Sherry. Listen, there's no reason to keep Sherry there. Tell me one thing that Sherry's done. Be real with me. Tell me one good reason to keep her. Tell me one good reason to keep Sherry Riggin. I'll wait. There is no good reason. I like Sherry. I don't have a problem with Sherry. Sherry's a nice person. You're right. He's proven himself. I'm just saying, I'm talking to the people that are confused. I'm talking for the people that are saying, well, Riggin, yeah, I know Riggin's dairy. Yeah, let's do that. If you live in the county and you didn't pay attention to the Muncie politics of the last 4 years, listen, it was screwed up. Dan has listen, you heard what we just talked about all tonight. Dan's been involved with all that kind of insanity for the last 4 years. Let me tell you something. The council in the last 4 years held Dan's feet to the fire. They did what they could do to keep Dan in check. And I'm going to be real honest. Troy Ingram was a big part of that. He was a big part of that. Troy governed not like a Republican. He didn't govern like a Democrat. He didn't care if you were a Democrat. He didn't care if you were a Republican. He didn't care if you were a woman. He didn't care if you were a man. He didn't care if you were white or if you were black or if you were young or if you were old. He cared about you because you were a citizen of Muncie. He cared about you if you were a citizen of Muncie because you were a citizen of Muncie. Listen, he cared about people that weren't from Muncie. Troy impressed the absolute hell out of me. Is he the best man in the world? I'm sure he's got faults. You know, nobody's perfect. We all fall short of the glory of God. But as far as being an elected official, folks, Ingram was the star of that 4-year council. Give him the opportunity to help Brand. Give him the opportunity to pull back on Brand. You know, he might need to say, whoa, Brand, I don't think that's, he might need to be in there. He's a voice of reason, folks. Give him that opportunity. Give him that chance. You will respect him. You will like him. I'm telling you. Vote Sherry out. I will. Thank you. That's good. We need to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. Keep tuned here. If you want more information on what's going on, we will be talking tomorrow more about what's happening here with the City of Muncie, what's going on with the Visitors Bureau. We will be getting more records. I think on Thursday night, we're going to have Catherine on from Madison County as she talks about that. I think we're also working on getting Brand on. I'm going to try to have Troy on. We're going to try to have a couple of others on. I'll let you know what goes on. But we're like kind of in campaign mode, basically election mode from here until election night. So, I'll keep you posted on what's going on, but we will be back here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, God willing. I hope that you will come back. And before you leave, I want to ask you, go over here, whichever way. Looks like they're over here now. Go over here and do all of these YouTube things. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Click the bell. Thank you for commenting. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. And come back tomorrow night. We'd love to see you. We'd love to talk to you. And we'd love to help educate your minds. So you guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening. And we will talk to you all again back here at the same time tomorrow. Good night. Goodbye.